time master interval, the APIs. And we will see more asynchronous APIs like here and here. Okay. Let's take a look at this slide. The first thing we're going to introduce is called a closure. Closure are created whenever an inner function with free variable is returned or assigned as a callback, which means in a function you return another function, and that function is an inner function. Closure provides encapsulation of methods and data. Encapsulation promotes self-efficiency, stability, and reusability. Okay. Closure provides a supportive wrapper for actions that will occur in another context. Like a transcendental consciousness provide a supportive wrapper of our actions that will occur outside of the meditation. So this is a definition of closure, which is like a combination of function bundled together. In closure, we reference to its surrounding state, the lexical environment. We'll talk about this one. I will show you example later. Okay. So somewhat defined closure will be only where there's an inner function, which is a function defined in another function and with free out variable. But this one you're talking about free variable. Here in JavaScript, free variable the variable is not defined in a local function and not a global. Global variable are not part of the free variable. We will see later. Okay. So when a closure is created, first you have to expose a function. But some articles will say, whenever we define inner function, you're gonna have a closure. I feel that is not very helpful to understand. So I expect my personal like understanding is like when a closure is gonna be created is whenever we return a function. Okay. You're gonna see I will see later, okay? But not always when we return a function, we're gonna have a free variable. I will show you, okay? So you have to expose a function, basically return it, okay? Or pass to another function, which as a parameter. An inner function will have access to variables in the out function scope, even after function has been returned, which means it's already been removed from execution context. Let's give an example why we need to have a closure, okay? Suppose we have this piece of code. Suppose we are trying to run it. Let's take a look at it. We will draw lexical environment, the same thing as we did last week. Okay. So now let's take a look at when closure is going to be created. Why we need to have a closure? First I have to show you the result. Okay. Let me show you the result. Yeah. We'll get 10. We'll see 10, right? So definitely we get some result. Okay. Now let's take a look at of this piece of code, how actually JavaScript is executed. Okay. Take a look at it here. We steal from the global execution context. And we will first go through the creation phase, right? Creation phase, we have lexical environment. What do we have? Let me mute that guy. Okay. We'll have a foo, right? Foo is a function reserved, okay? Do you have anything else? Creation phase. Yes. TDZ, right? Which is X and the result here, right? And anything else in the lexical environment? Outer, Kali said. Okay. Outer, don't forget about outer. Okay. Outer, right? Okay, we're very good. And then we will go to the execution phase. When you do execution, we start with the first time, we will have X is 1, right? We have X is 1. And then we remove from TTZ, okay? And then we have function declaring skip, right? And we will execute this line. Whenever we see this kind of line, when you see equal sign equal sign, I'm gonna do what? First, I have to compute the compute the result in the right side, then assign to the left, right? So when you see equal sign, you actually have two steps. This one is one step. Second one is assign this step, right? So we'll do the first step, which is a full 4. Okay. So whenever we have full 4, mute yourself. Okay. And we have creation phase. Here in lexical environment, okay, lexical environment, we have what? You can think this one is also, this is one is function, right? You can think this one we have a anonymous function. Okay, it's a function. I just do like this way, okay? Anonymous function, and what else? Y is 4, right? We do have outer is what? Global. And we do have another one called arguments, right? Arguments, which is 0, 4, and the length is 1, okay? That's 1. And then we will go to execution phase. Okay? Execution phase, let me make this one change a little bit, okay? I add this one, right? Okay. So when we do execution phase, we only have one thing called return, right? So when we return, that means this function is done. Then we have to pop out from where? We have to pop out, right? Okay. So I will make a copy here. Okay. Somewhere. Okay. Then I'll pop out because we finished, right? Finish. We okay. Oh. Pop out. Then what's gonna happen? You have to understand here. This function is gonna be stored in the heap, right? Heap, okay. So when we return, actually this result will point to that function, right? We still can execute. Now let's take a look at it here, okay? We still will execute that anonymous function. Okay. Function execution context. We'll have a creation phase, okay? Lexical environment. Now take a look at, in this lexical environment, what do we have? Z, what's the value? 5. I pass 5. This result will represent this function, right? This result will represent this function. That's why we can call, right? So 5 will be assigned to here, right? You guys, huh? And we do have an arguments. 0 is 5, length is 1. What else? We do have outer. Outer is what? Full. Okay. Now we do execution phase. Now here is a problem. Take a look at our drawing here. When we do execution, here only has one return statement, right? When we do return, we have to find x. So in myself, do I have x? No, I have to find out outer. Do I have full? No, it's already popped out. And then second one, I need to find a y, right? Second, find one, do I have y? No, the y is where? In the full. See here. Do I have y here? Okay, and then last one, I need to find a z. Yes, I do have a z. And if without closure, if we just take a look at what we're doing here, we should get an error, which is x is not defined or y is not defined, right? But we actually get the result, which is 10. That means it works, okay? So in this case, that's why we have to have a closure, because when the full is popped out, this inner function, when we execute, right, how to refer to the global variable, how to refer to the variable which actually defined in the full function lexical environment. Understand me? That's why we need to have closure, okay, in JavaScript, okay? So what's gonna happen in this case? Let me draw.
Full pops out after the assignment operation.
Yes. No. After you return. After you return when you reach the in a function when the function gonna pop out is when you reach the after you finish the last statement in the function body, it should be pop out.
So we are still in the return statement, or we have assigned the value to the result because the execution.
Yeah, after this line is done, okay, then it's gonna be pop out.
Yeah.
And the return value gonna be assigned to result.
So then the results from the TDC on state.
Well, I haven't go to oh yes that step I haven't go. Okay, we have to put this one remove from here and go to this one have a result. Okay, that one I missed. Okay, so now let's take a look at how the closure is doing. Okay, let me remove this one. That is I missed the one step. Okay, I forgot to assign to result. Sorry. Okay, let me do again here. I do like this way. What's gonna happen for JavaScript? The same thing for Java, okay. Similar, but only one thing difference is the global variable. I will go off a little bit fast at the beginning, okay? So because we already covered here, global. Execution context, we have a creation phase and have lexical environment, have the function foo as a function, and we do have an outer, which is a none. And in the TDZ, we will have what's the X and the result, right? Result, okay? And then we go to execution phase. Execution phase, we're gonna have X equals 1 here, okay? And then we are going to skip this one, and then we execute this line, right? And when we execute, we do exactly same thing, okay, which will have a full function execution context creation. And this 4 is assigned to the Y, okay? So we will do in the creation phase, say we have what's the Y is a 4, okay? And we have forgot about the function, anonymous function, okay? I will say a function, and anonymous, okay? And we have arguments, which is 0 is 4, length is 1, okay? And we do have what thing called outer, okay? Outer is global, right? Global, okay? Then we go to create execution phase. Execution phase just return this function, right? So after we return, we will pop out this part. And this time I have to make a copy. Okay. I have to make a copy here. Let me put it here first, okay? Then I will pop out. I forgot one step, okay, as Nada mentioned. And after we return, then we will have this thing here, which is after we return, we pop out and we will do second step, which is this assign to result, right? So we will remove this result from here and have this one. What's the result is gonna become a function now, right? So then we will do the last step, which is result equals 5, okay? So call result 5. And the result is what? Result is a function, right? So function can call, you got what I mean? So we will have, let's say here is called the result execution context, which is the creation phase. What do you mean for a second? Okay. Did you make it larger? Okay. Result, execution context, the creation phase. So actually, the closure is created when a function declared. When a function is already, when this function is creation, right? When we create a function, this closure already is there actually. Okay, but we draw like we draw using this way to understand. Okay, so creation phase, we are going to have a lexical environment, and also we have one thing. Z is 5, right? We are gonna have arguments, which have a 0, 5, length is 1. And whenever we do outer, I will say we have this thing is called what thing? Foo. And when you do this, when you have outer foo, right? It's already being popped out. This thing I'm going to let me use another color, okay? This thing is gonna become your closure. I'll put it here. Yeah. Wait a minute for a second. Can you guys see here? Okay, so even though our foo is popped out, but because this function, this anonymous function is an inner function, okay? After doing its creation of this inner function, the closure is already been there, okay? But we just draw like this way. In the creation phase or we execute, when we refer outer, the JavaScript will keep a reference for this lexical environment because the lexical environment still is an object stored in the heap, okay? It will have reference to that. So here we have outer is here. Then we will continue do our execution phase. Now let's take a look at, okay? So now I need to find my X, right? When we return, we have to find the X, right? So in my lexical, do I have X? No, I don't have X only. Then I go to my outer. Outer is what? Outer is here. Okay. Do I have X? No. I will go to this outer. Outer global is 1. So you have X is 1 here. Then I have to find a Y, right? Myself, I don't have Y. So I go to my outer, which is closure. Here I have Y, which is 4. Okay. Then I will have a thing. I will have a Z. Z, do I have a Z? Yes. 5. So eventually result 5 equals 10. That is how you're doing. And the second one, this is a closure, okay? Whenever you return an inner function, you're gonna have a closure, okay? And the second one, which is called a free variable. Do you remember how the free variable inside the Java? Free variable inside Java is when you have variable not defined locally. Not defined locally means what? Inside this inner function, you don't have any statement called let I equal something, okay? Or and not part of your function parameters. So Z is not a free variable because what? See here. Z is in your local lexical environment, right? So what is a free variable? Take a look at all the variable you use in the closure. So not X. Okay, which one? Take a look at all the variable you use inside the closure. Which one?
Y.
Y, only Y, okay? X is not because X is in the global. We don't think in JavaScript, we don't think X is a free variable. We only consider those variables are inside your closure. You got me? Okay. So in this case, only Y is a free variable, okay? X and Z is not a free variable. Let me demo to you, okay? Let me demo to you, then we will open for question, okay? So in order to show you the thing, I have to use this one because the closure is created even though you don't execute the function. But when we draw, I just draw there, okay? Understand me? So this one DRL will see the details about your function. And we have to use the browser to execute it to show you guys because the node don't give it us. So first one, when we render, then you see you open this what's thing? A triangle. Okay. Then here, do you see scope? And see here? Do you see here have a closure and a full? And you see this Y is a free variable. Okay. This Y is free variable. Did you see X here? No. If X is also free variable, you're gonna put it here. So X is not a free variable. And let me show you more clear. Okay. I will change this one without X. Okay, just do like this way. And you will still see, you will still see a let me remove, I forgot, my bad. I removed the wrong one, okay. I remove Y. See, do you see? I don't have because the Chrome, if you don't have free variable, it just remove that closure. It's actually have closure, just don't have any free variable, okay? Because if no free variable, you cannot get this X. The outer is linked here, okay? But the main idea I want to show you here is only y is a free variable, x is not a free variable because it's in the global. Okay, global is not popped out from the stack. Okay, now any question you guys have here?
What is the advantage of having a free variable?
Advantage depends on your requirement. It doesn't have any advantage on that. Okay, depends on what you want to do. It do have advantage. It do have a usage. Like we will see one usage. I think the M family. No. When we talk about DOM, like change the size, change the style, it has. It do have another use case. Let me think about it. But that thing you guys haven't learned. What can do is let me see if I can do it. Okay. Not very easy to function. Oh, let me see. Make add. Okay. So here, take a look at one. So in this case, you actually make a bunch of adders, and so here, const adder one. You can say this one is const adder 3. Okay. And this one, suppose we call const adder 5. Okay. So we are using this function, and whenever I call add 1, it will only 1 plus 3. You got me? And this one is fixed for this free variable. And whenever I call add 3, it will always become what thing? It will always 3 out of 5. And the same thing for this one, always 5 out of 5. This is used in. Did you learn in Java code when you talk about closure, free variable called function curry? This one is one example like a function curry. You have some fixed values there. Okay. Basically, it's similar like this one. Okay. Basically, you suppose you have lots of variable there. You just fix some. Which let me search. Okay. I do have an example. Okay. Function curry. Oh, exactly same as what I did. Okay. Let me show you one example. Okay. Which is not a good example. Okay. Celsius. To Fahrenheit. Let me take a look at formula. I need to find a formula for that. Oh, this one, okay. This one, okay. What is the function curry? Suppose I have a function which is very general, okay, and which will accept A and B. And this A and B, whenever we give, whenever we have which is like a X, it's gonna be look like this way. A multiply X plus B. Okay, you got me? So we can use this formula to do what? We can use this formula to do Suppose I want to get a Celsius, okay? I will do like I will call like this way general. I'll pass the first part is this one. Okay, and B is how many? 32. And this the last one gonna be I want to convert 10 Celsius to be Fahrenheit, right? You got me? This one gonna be good. I want to get a result which is result 1, okay, which is 10 Celsius. What's the value of the Fahrenheit? Convert, okay. Suppose you want to do more, you have to do a thing. For the A and B, you have to repeat many times. You got me? And there's another scenario. Suppose we have another scenario, which is a convert US dollar to Chinese yuan, okay? What's gonna do? We can still using this formula, right? Which is A, suppose is 65, okay? And B is 0, and X, I want to convert US like 100 US to Chinese yuan, okay? And then you're gonna do is like a const, which I is 4. You can do like this way, right? But every time you have to repeat this thing. You got me? And you can do is make the function using this way. What's going to do? This is my original function, right? You know how to do it. You can have a function which is called what's the name? It's different. Fahrenheit to Celsius, which you only pass X, okay? And then how to do it? It's gonna be no, sorry. My bad. Okay, wait a minute. Function, make function. I just call make function. Okay, A and B. Okay, I'll return. I don't use this one. Okay, I'm using this one and return another function, which gonna become this one. Put X. Then I will do what? Return the exact same thing. Okay, I'll return exact same thing. Okay, and then for the Fahrenheit, I'm going to do like this way. Const Fahrenheit to Celsius. I will do a thing. Make a function. Okay, and here I will pass only one. Only this part too. Okay, which is gonna be put to A and B. And then I just call Fahrenheit to this one and give 10 Celsius. Suppose I want to do 20, do like this way. You got me? So then I don't need to repeat. Sorry, my bad. Then I don't need to repeat this thing in every call. Do you get me? Because I already passed here. That's using the free variable. And same thing for the currency change. Then you can do what? For the currency, you can do const yuan to dollar to yuan. Okay, my bad. The function naming. Okay, dollar to yuan. Then I will say make function. Then I put 6.5 and 0 here. Okay. Then you can, suppose I want to convert to be $100, you just do like this way. If I want to convert $200, you just do like this way. Then you no longer need to repeat this. You got what I mean? Because every time you repeat, it kind of like a duplicated. So you can use, suppose you have a general function, okay, to do like this, you can create one and return another function. And if you make it shorter, it's gonna become function curly. Okay, this is kind of like a function curly. You will see another example when we talk about here. We can show another example, which is a free variable closure. Okay, but so far that's the best one I can explain. Any more questions? Diagram?
Yeah. See, will be reference for this closure, right? I mean, as soon as the return statement is executed.
This closure actually created is whenever this function is being created, the closure is already there.
Yeah, so there will be a reference to that closure by the function.
Yes, function, this inner function.
Yeah, so the foo is going to have the reference for that function, right?
Which, no. Yeah, you are talking about this part. This return function will have a closure over the full execution, the entire lexical environment. This function, which is the return function, will have, because the full you already finish. Yes.
So.
Who is going to keep a reference of this one? You can think there's no exact variable to refer to that. There's
how does it get referred when the function is being called? When the result is being called. So how does it know that there is a closure that we have to call back?
When the JavaScript, whenever inside the JavaScript, okay, whenever you have a return statement which will return another function, okay, or return, the JavaScript engine will keep a reference for you. You don't need to do anything. They will create a closure for you. Whenever JavaScript see, okay, here you have a return and you have to return a function, right? During the creation time of the function, this anonymous function, then the JavaScript internally will create a closure for you. And then does it make sense? It's not a we create. Internally, they will do for you, because that's the mechanism they do. Okay, because in your closure in this part, you may refer to the global variable, you may refer to this y. If they don't create a closure for you, for us, then we will get errors. But JavaScript say, okay, I will keep a reference, keep all the things actually is already being popped out from the stack, right? He will still have reference for you. Any more question on closure?
Until one.
Yeah.
Until that closure will be there.
Until
one will the closure be there.
He's asking when the closure will be
Public distance.
When we finish the result, or when the result is done. Suppose I finish the result, right? Then we will pop out entire thing, and then pop out the global.
So if we never call result, it will always stay there in the heap.
No, you eventually your program gonna exit. When you exit, you're gonna, yeah. When your program exit, it's also gonna be pop out.
The reference will be there until the program exit, right?
No, in this case, yes, when your result is finish. When suppose here I finish my result, right? And if in the future code you no longer refer to this result, then it's gonna be pop out, which is your result no longer being used. Then it's JavaScript will do garbage collection. Then it's gonna be collected. Okay, but for us is after we done result call and we don't have any reference to this anonymous function, then it's gonna be pop out. And if you have another, suppose another point to that anonymous function, it won't pop out. This one already finished. Okay, let's go to next one. This one I already explained. Code block and scope, which is on last Saturday, is this one is a code block, right? And code block will also create a lexical environment only for the variables declared with a let or const. This one I'm talking about. Let me review. Okay. Guys, ask a question. What's inside the global environment? What's inside the global execution lexical environment? You're gonna have what's thing in the global environment, lexical environment. You're gonna have before the execution, you're gonna have what's thing? Undefined, right? And have a outer is what's thing? No, okay. And after execution, we're gonna have I is a 10, right? Oh, look. You are 10, okay. And if I put this line, which is before this one, you're gonna have undefined. You got it? And now if I change this one to be let or const, what's gonna be in your global lexical environment? just the outer, right? Because when we use a brace, and the late gonna be in a scope of this part. Okay, so that's why when I run this code, you're gonna have what? Gonna have error because I is not defined because I is where I is inside this scope. Last time, last Saturday, Pawan asked about the scope. Then I thought about it should have another called the accessibility of that variable. Okay, yeah, because from where to where I can access this I only inside this code block. Okay, that's why outside this code block I will have error because in my outer I only have none. I don't have anything else. Okay. You are clear about this one, okay? Oh, let's demo another one. I'm not sure if I demoed, if true. Demo, let's have an else condition, okay? RJ equals 10, L9, okay? G. Let's take a look at it, guys. You have a 10 and undefined. So what happened in the lexical environment before execution? All the thing I have? I undefined. This is I talk about it before execution, okay? And I have J undefined, okay? And then after execution, we're gonna have a lexical environment which outer is what's the now when we execute this I will assign to be 10, right? So I'm gonna have I is 10 and I have J undefined. That's the reason when I print I and J, you still will consider all the things in the else, okay? Else, even though this tree will never reach the else, right? But in the lexical environment, you still have this J there. You got me? Because always if treat will always go here, right? But the JavaScript, it will still have a registration for this J because it defined with a var. Okay.
Can you change that J to late?
If we change J to late, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
You're gonna have this one is 10. This one is error. Okay. You know, let me comment this one. Okay, it seems directly give the error.
No, 10 was printed.
10 was printed.
Yes, the 10 was-
Well, what is? I will just see our thing. First, we definitely should see 10. Okay, you will say 10, right? And then we go J. You will go have error. I have J is not defined. Okay. Oh, 10 is here. 10 is here. Okay, I didn't see it. Okay. And if we change to be late, both are gonna have error. Okay, because in the global, what do I have? Only have outer. Okay, outer no variables. Okay, you're gonna have errors for both of them.
Can we access the var variables from another scope?
Not scope is talking about what?
I mean another scope, not from global. For example, if I make I var and I make another scope, another if, for example, and try to access the I.
Var scope for the var only function will create a scope for the var. Suppose here I have function. Here, if I have a function, okay, and here I have var m equals 80, then you cannot access this m anywhere except in the function because m is only accessible in the function full, and outside of the function you cannot access it. Inside a function, no matter you have if else statement, for loop, or have another inner function, you all can access m. Okay. Any other?
I mean, if I make another if and try to access the.
Why do you want to make another if?
Let's make line 7 var.
Var.
Yeah.
And then,
Make another scope.
Another if.
Another if, for example.
of course, another if else condition doesn't matter because this one gonna become global. No matter how many statements you have, it you can all access this I. This is gonna become global, right? Global you can access I inside a function full. Why not?
Yeah.
Because this one is global. Global means everywhere on this page. Okay. If I call this one, what's gonna be the value of here? Why is it 10?
Undefined.
Undefined. Because what's thing? This one is this line executed after this foo is being called. So this is gonna be this line assigned, which means the value assigned here gonna be after you print it. So gonna be undefined. So when you have this one, which is global, everywhere, no matter which function, which inner function, everywhere you can access it. Okay, that's called global.
We cannot access that M outside food.
Of course, yes, because the function will create a scope for the M, and then M is only limited in the function. Okay, not a global. Any more question? For loop and while exact same, okay? Exact same, and each iteration, you're gonna have a lexical environment to be created, okay? Here, I don't want to go deep, not in the exam, okay? This one I already explained by code block. Just now we explained, right? What's wrong? I forgot about it. The thing I explained, okay? Which is here you have a block here, and if we define it with a let and const, then you're gonna have a lexical environment block, have a scope there. var, I already explained all the scenarios of about a var. Okay, very old. Don't use var. Okay, whenever you want to define a variable, suggest okay. Best guideline is always use const, and if you want to change the value, use change to be let. Don't use var. If you really want to use var, just use it. Okay. Okay. And here say it's a function scope. Okay. Ignore block scope. Okay. And always hoist. Hoist means what? You're gonna have in creation phase, hoisting phase, you're gonna have I equals undefined. Okay. If it this is what thing we talk about. Suppose here I have my if else statement. Okay. Var j equals 10. Okay. In this case, we will see even though j is defined in this block scope, right? But because we define as var, this j is available inside the entire function. Okay, and this will have another problem is before ES6, because we only have a way to define variable is using the word var, and var is a lack of a block level lexical environment. Okay, and then because it only has a function scope, and which means like this way. Okay, I want to have a piece of code. Okay, I want to have a piece of code. Yes, when I execute, suppose I execute JS, right? This piece of code gonna immediately executed, which in our case, yes, I'm gonna get a 10 being printed, right? And meanwhile, I don't want outside this one thing. I don't want outside this code block. This I shouldn't be accessed. But in our case, first we successful. When we executed the code, the console log inside this code block executed successfully, right? Immediately without any call. Then, but another thing that I achieve is what thing? I don't want this I being exposed after the outside this brace, but we can access it, right? And one way, okay, because we're using while, let's create a function. But if we create a function, we do limit this I, which is in the scope of function. But the problem is what? The problem is I have to call this function. I have to do this step, right? In order to get the first console log to be printed, you got me? So how to do it? JavaScript create a syntax called if. Okay, and which gonna do like this way. The syntax like this way. Okay, and your function foo, put it inside here. Okay, and I will show you here. Okay, here I have to call this function, right? But for the if you don't need to have this foo. Okay. I have if 10, okay, and also you don't have access to this I. Suppose I use J, okay, you also don't have access of J. You can see here, J is not defined. And by using this syntax, we achieve what we want to do. First, a piece of code will automatically execute when you execute the source code, okay? And second, this J is what thing? This J is not exposed to the global environment. And that is if we do. If we just, how if we achieve? First, we have a function defined, and a function will create a scope for this J, which will limit this J only accessible inside these two braces, right? And the second one, see here, this one kind of like a function call. If it means what thing? If it, this if it means immediately is this one? Function expression. Executed. Okay, then it should be IEFE. Sorry, IEFE. It should be IEFE. Okay. Hey, why is it called IFE? Let me see what's the word used. Oh, invoked. Invoked. Okay, it is invoked, but same idea, right? Invoked. Okay. Which means immediately invoked function expression. This one we consider as a function expression because we can assign this anonymous function to a variable, right? And then immediately invoked because when we execute the code, we didn't add parentheses by ourselves. It will automatically execute the code inside a function, right? That is called immediately invoked function expression. Okay. Nowadays, no need to use because we have let and const. Okay. You use this when you see some legacy code. Okay. No need to use nowadays. Strict mode. There's one arrow I couldn't show you, which is this one, because Java, the browser already turned off this way. Show an arrow if you try to assign to an undeclared variable. This one I'm talking about, I couldn't show you this one. They already changed it. I forgot to search the reason. Okay, when it changed. Suppose I have function. Okay, previously, we know we cannot access the J here, right? We know. And previously, you can do like this way. You can have a J, 10 assigned to J. And when we do that, in the execution phase of this foo, JavaScript will add J into global. And this one is talking about, we assign a value to a variable which doesn't declare before. And this one, you originally have a name called imply the global. Okay, let me see if it still can, let me try one more time if we can do it, okay. Last time when we tried, it's gonna have an error. Let me see if we have error here. This one can demo, see here. Can you see 10? Can you see 10 here? But based on our theory, if here no matter I use a let constant var, it should be limited in the scope of foo, right? But when we do, you will see here console J, I can still access the J. This one is called the implied global. Whenever you have a variable assigned to, whenever you have value assigned to a variable and you never declared it before, then it will automatically put it in the global scope. So everywhere on the page you can access it, and which is really bad. Okay, and you can restrict this thing. Use strict. Let me show you. Okay. Use strict mode will not allow you to do something like this. Okay, I just add use strict, nothing else. Let's run again. Can see J is not defined because if you use strict mode, it will not allow you to do it like this.
So if we assign something like that, so will it be declared as a var type in the global?
Doesn't care about a var or let. Just in a lexical environment, you have a variable. You have a variable called J, and the value is 10. I don't care about it. You define with var or let. Okay, I just
Global lexicon.
yes, in the global. No matter how in a function, how deep in your function, it will put it in the global, and it has a name called the implied global. Okay, because you didn't have a let concept var, you didn't declare J first, right? You assign 10. So what JavaScript should do for you? JavaScript, should I put it in the foo? Should I put it in the if else condition? Should I put it in a for loop? He doesn't know how to do it, so he just put it in the global. Okay, but don't do it. Okay, we're gonna create troubles if we do. Okay. Yeah. Just exactly this word.
Yeah.
Use strict. Okay. Don't change it to be use strict too. Okay. It's a use strict. Okay.
So in creation phrase, J is equal to 10 or J undefined?
Don't have J. Let me show you. Okay. That's a very good question. We don't use strict. What's gonna happen? Okay. That's Monu asked. Okay. What's gonna happen is take a look at. A demo to you, but don't means you have to use it. Okay, don't use it. Okay, creation phase in lexical environment. What do we have? Function foo. Okay, and anything else? Outer is not great. Okay, you will see exam in the exam. Okay. The execution phase. The execution phase. This one is skip, right? Then we will execute this line. Okay, this line, and gonna have a full execution context in the creation phase. Lexical environment. What do we have here? No, not okay. That's the thing. You guys confused. No, not 0. Length is 0. Okay, and I have what's thing? Outer global. Okay, and then this J is added in execution phase. In execution phase, you add the J here. And here. Okay. How can I prove? We can prove it. Okay. You add a J is in execution phase. Okay. You add a J here. How can we prove? Hey, we can prove it. But this is my theory. Okay. Sometimes the browser do the things. Let's see it. Okay. J not defined, which means if a J is added in a creation phase, hoisting, we should have a J there. But a J is added where? In execution. And we execute console log J before this one is added in lexical environment. Understand me?
During the execution, it should put it in the global lexicon.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry. My bad. It should put it here. Okay. It should put it here. Sorry, my bad. Okay. A great catch. Okay. Good. So when is J being added? In execution phase, not creation phase. Okay. That's use strict. It do have others in the use strict, like stop you overriding JS key libraries, okay, and forbid some language features. And we will see some probably in the future. Okay, use strict works for individual function. You can, which means if I put the use strict inside this JS file, all the code in this JS file gonna be use strict mode. You can also put the use strict inside here. That means only inside this function you start use strict mode. Okay. Like most of the JavaScript libraries, like React, it will automatically turn use strict mode for you.
So use is it the scope, the function, or the scope is the block?
No, that doesn't do anything for that. Just some which is it will just turn on strict syntax checking, like imply the global. If you use strict, it's gonna what's thing? It's gonna stop you to do that. Okay. There are other things for any scope you are doing. Okay, nothing being changed. Just some weird things, like suppose you override the JavaScript key JavaScript system libraries, like you override like push pop those things. You're gonna not allow you to do it. Okay. Got me? We'll see another use trigger here. Okay. Let me show you a thing. Okay. Take a look at here. Another use strict. Okay. But we'll see tomorrow. I don't explain. Okay. I'll just show you this thing. You see window, right? You see window, right? Do you see here? A cobalt is a window, right? Another one. Yep, I have to put it together. Sorry, my bad. I have to put it together. Okay. I'll put it here. Okay, this piece. Yeah, undefined. That's another use strict change of the values. We'll see tomorrow. Okay. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break and we'll come back to callbacks. Did you? Yeah, this you?
Yeah.
If right.
Still,
6 years ago. do you think this is Sam? I was thinking there's another Vietnam student. He left the one. Okay. No.
Study, I think I will to submit the assignment. I completed, but
Okay, you send me by Teams. Okay, no problem. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry.
upload it in the GitHub.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. No worries. What? Now. A minute. Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
what can I say? One of my family members came to Chicago tomorrow,
Okay.
so I have to go and see.
Oh, sure.
Please.
Report.
Record.
Yeah. Tomorrow's lecture is very important. Super important. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay. Make sure you watch. Okay. And if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.